Hi, this is Bill Hansen speaking to you today from beautiful Villa Woodbine in Coconut Grove, Florida. Thank you for tuning in, and today my topic is food tastings. The good, the bad, what to do, what not to do. When I first started catering back in the 80s, there was really no such thing as a food tasting. Couples would usually ask me, Bill, what do you think? And I would say, well, I think you're going to like a Caesar salad and sliced tenderloin of beef and some crab cakes and a rosin baked potato and a conch fritter and a stuffed mushroom cap. And that was about it. And they say, okay, Bill, that's great. Now, with everyone being much more sophisticated, times have changed. And so tastings are really, really important. So here's a few tips for you guys out there in viewer land. Number one, generally, you're not going to taste everything the caterer is going to serve. He's not going to serve you everything, but if there are particular items you definitely want to taste, make sure you talk to them. What about paying for a food tasting? Generally, if you've already booked a wedding with a caterer, he or she's not going to charge you for a food tasting. But if you decide to bring the whole family, aunts, uncles, grandparents, to the tasting, then guess what? He's going to charge you some extra to cover the cost. Now, what if you haven't decided on your caterer yet? We call them unbooked tastings. Depending upon the size, if it's a really big event, and I know that they're going to spend well into 5 figures, then more than likely I won't charge for the tasting. If it's a moderate event, then here's what I'll do. I'll say, okay, fine, it's going to be $150 for each person at the tasting, and if you go ahead and book with me, then I will give you credit on the bill. When you get ready to plan your tasting, it's so important to talk with your caterer. Have a heart-to-heart talk. Go over things like what you simply got to have and those things that you don't want to see. It might be broccoli, it might be mushrooms, but let your caterer know what you want, and keep in mind what's seasonal. If it's a spring wedding, then let's use springtime items. If it's a fall wedding, same way. Don't forget to ask about vendor meals. That's so important, because your vendors, your photographer, your musicians, your DJ, your design and decor people, your bridal planner, they need to eat too. Many of them are going to be there all day with you. So generally your caterer will charge you for a vendor meal, but it's usually significantly less than the full price. At my company, we charge $25 for the vendor meal, and the vendors get basically everything that your guests get. Because we feel it's very important to feed the vendors well, because if we don't, they won't be recommending us. So we take care of our vendors here at my catering company. At the tasting, there should definitely be the chef and at least one person from the sales team. Your chef should come in, introduce himself or herself, tell you a little bit about each course before it's served, and then after the course, come in and ask what you liked about it or what you didn't like about it. In the meantime, you should bring a notepad so that you can take your own notes, because you're going to be tasting multiple dishes, and it's very easy to have things blend into one another. One time I ate at a restaurant in Chicago called Moto, M-O-T-O, and there were 18 courses. And I had a terrible time trying to remember even what the third course was. And the only way I remembered is I took a picture and I took notes. Another thing is, make sure that your sales consultant is taking notes, because if your sales consultant isn't taking notes, that's a sign to really worry, because that shows that they're really not that interested in what you have to say. So be careful of that. Now, the tasting's over and you're still up in the air. As a caterer, what I want is I want you to be honest with me. Tell me what you liked and what you didn't like. And if there were certain items that you didn't like, or maybe they weren't to your taste, I will be more than happy to offer you a second tasting. And we do that upon occasion. I've done it before. But most importantly, my goal always, and the goal of my team, is that your guests are delighted beyond measure. And if they're happy, you're happy, and I'm happy. Take care, and God bless you. Thank you.